And we are in the house at AfterBuzz TV. And again, Bing is for doing. And we just want to say really quick to Maria on Dance with the Stars. Oh my gosh. Did anybody see her? Awesome. Anyway, you can archive all of those. Maria, we love you. We love you for all that you do here, because without you, we wouldn't even be here right now and doing what we do. So thank you, thank you. And then also to Miss Own, OPRAH Recaps. We are so in the house, still in the place with Miss Shereen and my main man, headliner, Kaya, Mr. Kaya Redford with the Kaya Redford Experience. So now we're going to go straight into, of course, our perception is projection.
Yes.
Our perception is projection. Now, when I hear that our perception is projection, I'm thinking about our imagination, what we see, our conscious thoughts becoming things. Mm-hmm. Now, that's what I think when I think of perception, and then what we see as the projection of our life. So I want you to tell me, you know, am I clear? Does that work, or what is your thought process, what I said on that?
You know, you just mentioned today that you got out of Agape.
Correct.
With Reverend Michael Beckwith.
Right.
And one thing he says is you don't describe what you see. You don't describe what you see.
Right.
You see what you describe.
Oh, juicy.
A description is already happening in the mind. And that description, the perceptions that are going on in the mind, are projected out onto the world in front of us. Now, where does this come from? Comes from Carl Jung. Okay, so he was a Swiss psychologist, one of the founding fathers of modern psychology with Sigmund Freud. And what we do, I want to give you an example so that you understand what's happening.
Okay.
I want you to think of this. I want you to think of life is like the internet. My question to you is, how many billions and billions of websites and blogs and you know, pages, landing pages are there on the total internet?
Bajillion.
I mean, it would be an infinite, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you cannot really, if you were to go on the internet, you couldn't even really go on the internet without doing some type of a search.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Because without the search, without a Google search, it would be impossible to see the entire internet.
You would just be overwhelmed.
Okay. Now, when you do the search, what happens? You narrow your focus down. Now, I'm curious, when was the last time you did a Google search on something, anything?
Yesterday.
What was it?
The Kaya Redford Experience.
Kaya Redford Experience. Okay, perfect. Okay. Well, let's go with that. Let's go with that.
You know.
Let's go Kaya Redford Experience.
Check it out.
Okay. So how many people are on the planet?
A couple billion.
How many people could you Google on the planet? I mean, maybe some of them are not even, their names are not even on the internet, but how many names of people would you
real quick, the best way to get your answer is to Bing it. I just must say, you gotta Bing it.
How many can you Bing?
There you
How
go.
many can you Bing?
Bing. Let's not Google it. Let's Bing it. So
Bing
when
it.
you Bing, I Binged you actually,
Okay,
because
Bing.
that's what's on my computer.
Okay.
Actually.
Perfect. So you're Binging it, right? So
Right.
The thing is, it's impossible to get the totality. If you're doing a search, a Bing search for the Kaya Redford Experience, you're narrowing your search to one person, but there's billions of people out there.
Right.
So what you're doing in effect is you're deleting from the search all other people, places, and things that are not Kaya Redford, so that you have a search for Kaya Redford. Now, if you have a search for Kaya Redford, or if you're searching for, let's say, herbs, let's say you're searching for specific herbs. If you search for specific herbs, how many pages do you think you're going to find searching for herbs?
A lot.
Millions, billions of pages. Now, how about what would be a specific within herbs? What would be something specific within herbs?
Basil.
Jasmine.
Jasmine. How many pages would you find on jasmine's related herbs?
A lot.
Maybe 500,000. Maybe 10.
Right.
You know. So what's happening is you're deleting everything else. And you're just getting this. Life is like the internet. Our brain is like the Bing search. There is a famous Hungarian biologist by the name of Csikszentmihalyi. And he wrote a book called Flow in 1996.
Okay.
In the book, he said there's 2 million bits of information. 2 million bits of information that is coming in through our input channels. And our brain...
Every second?
Every second.
Okay.
Bits per second. 2 million bits of information flooding into our brain through our input channels, our visual, our auditory, our kinesthetic, the feeling, just everywhere. Even through smells, even through taste, and anything. All this information is coming in. Now, we're not able to process that.
Right.
His research showed that we can only process, our brain, our neurology can only process 134
Wow.
Bits per second.
bits of information per second
Wow.
of 2 million. Do you know what percentage that is?
That's a lot
That's-
falling off.
Right, exactly.
That's less
It's like
than,
it's hitting a wall. You can't get in.
that's much less than 1%.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we are constantly in neurolinguistic programming, and I'm going to get to the whole point. Like, why is Kai bringing this up? It's going to make total sense to you. And
Okay.
the where it's going to make sense to you is right now.
Right.
We're constantly deleting, we're constantly distorting, we're constantly generalizing the world in front of us because our neurology can only handle 134 bits of information. So the question is, we're picking up less than 1%
Less than 1%.
of everything out there.
Wow.
Now, my question is, the stuff that I'm deleting, is it the same stuff that you're deleting, Brookshire?
I don't know.
Is it the same stuff? Am I, what I'm deleting, you deleting?
No.
Are you holding on to that 1% that you see and that you attract and you bring into your
Yes.
life? Is it the same as my 1%?
No.
So here's the powerful lesson. Why is our perception, our projection, why is that so important? Because if you want to know what the 1% is that you're picking up, and you want to take a guess at what will tell you what your 1% is?
I've taken your classes, so I was kind of like, I'm cheating.
Brookshire, do you want to take a guess?
Of what the 1% is of.
What is the 1%? What's the 1%? You're deleting 99%.
Right.
You're not deleting the same stuff I'm deleting.
Correct.
You're not deleting the same stuff as Brookshire
That's
or
right.
me. My 1% is not the same as Brookshire's. It's not the same as you.
Not the same as
So, or how about the rest of the people in the audience? So, question is, how do I know what is my freaking 1% then? Does
I guess
anybody?
What's on the. I don't know. What would it be?
Your results.
Good point.
There it is.
Boom.
Boom. Your results. How much money you have in your checking account right now or don't. What's the quality of your relationships in your life right now is those results. Your health and vitality, your spiritual, your mental, your physical, your emotional, all of it. All of the results you have right now are a picture that reflects to you what you're focused on.
I think I've had an aha moment.
Oh,
Can I share with you an analogy?
Yes. Whoa.
We love
Good
we
stuff.
love leaders like Oprah, Donald Trump, and so forth.
Right.
If I sent, let me give you two analogies. If I sent a woman who in her life she's had a tough time, maybe had experience with abusive parents and so forth, ran away from home, gone in and involved with the wrong crowd, maybe drugs, alcohol, whatever. Always seems to date the bad guy, the bad boy, whatever. If I sent her into a room full of 100 exceptional, 99 exceptional men that have been screened, they're all grads, they all have done tremendous things to the best of our ability. We've screened them and we've shown that these are exceptional men.
Right.
And we have one person in there, one bad boy in the room. And we send her into that room. Who's she leaving with that night?
The bad boy.
Who's she going to give her phone number to?
The bad boy.
The bad boy. Okay, another analogy. If I send a bunch of investors, novice investors, medium investors into a room, and there's opportunities in a room, and these investors that I send into a room go into a room and they go, you know what? There's just nobody doing anything that's worth my time. I might as well leave. So these investors leave. Can I send somebody like an Oprah Winfrey or a Donald Trump into the same room and they'll see opportunity where no one else sees it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it out there? Is the opportunity out there that is happening? Or is the opportunity in the mind of the individual that can see it and recognize it? Our perception, what is going on in our mind, our perception, it starts here. Reverend Michael Becker says you don't describe what you see what you describe.
Right.
What our thoughts, what our beliefs, what our patterns that we have in our mind consciously or even at the unconscious level, what those are projected out into the world of infinite possibility, because you would agree right now there's millions and millions of dollars to be made in almost any single and every single industry.
True.
There's people right now making, and this goes back to cause and effect, there's people right now in a down economy. I don't even buy into a down economy, but let's just say we were to say it was a down economy. There's people right now making millions of dollars, and there's people making struggling, correct? And even in an up economy, a boom economy, there's people making $1 million. And even in a boom economy, there's people struggling.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything outside of you. It goes back to cause and effect. It's your perception that is your projection. And there's so much more about that. But what I want you to know is this. Life is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
Law of attraction. You mentioned law of attraction and secret. All comes back to the secret. The secret, the law of retraction, the law of vibration. Okay, if you're vibrating with a lack of limitation thought, what do you think you're attracting to you?
Lack of limitations.
The people and places and things.
Right.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yes.
Okay, so now everybody's in doom, and everybody's talking about the conversation, which is, we can't do anything about it. We're victims of whatever. So what I'm saying is, when you go to cause, back to cause, and you say, I'm going to create a new perception of the world that I want to create, and the world I want to be in, then what you're doing is you're making a new decision in your mind, and you're projecting that out into the world in front of you, and you're going to attract the law of attraction. You're going to vibrate with people like Oprah, like Brookshire, like Shereen, like myself, like people that you know in your life right now.
Right.
And you want to be that person. You want to be that person that other people want to attract into their life. And the reality is you can. And you are as soon as you make that decision.
I agree. So how important in projection, in perception, is the imagination?
Imagination, we say, is the beginning of everything, because before, you know, I'm sitting on a chair, you're sitting on a chair. Before the chair arrived, it was an idea in someone's mind.
Right.
So, great question. So, a lot of what we do with neurolinguistic programming and timeline is it's a creative process of active imagination. I really want to acknowledge you, Brookshire, because you brought up a very big point.
Thank you.
That's something I wouldn't have brought up. That's why I love working with you on this, is that N.L.P. and timeline therapy is very much utilizing active imagination, because what we're doing is we're actively imagining, which is describing the world that we want to create on the outside in our mind, and we create it on the outside. There was a person, you know, who broke the 4-minute mile. I forget the gentleman's name, but the thought was that you can never break the 4-minute mile.
Right.
This is in the early 50s or something.
Right.
And you know, any person that runs so fast at a pace that would break the 4-minute mile, their heart's going to explode.
Wow.
You know, out of the chest cavity, they thought I believe it was even written in medical journals that there's things that are physically impossible. They even had runners tied to horses to make them run faster. So there was Roger Bannister.
There you go.
He made a decision. He said, you know what, there's a perception outside of me that I can't break the 4-minute mile. What did he do? He stayed up every single night visualizing himself breaking the 4-minute mile. He brought in those cells of recognition within him that created a work ethic, that created decisions, being at cause, on how he ate, how he trained, and what his focus was on, that one day had him break the 4-minute mile. And what's interesting, as soon as he made that decision to do that, and he did active imagination, he broke the 4-minute mile. What happened within a year? Within a year, I heard many people. So no one in history had broken the 4-minute mile,
Now
but within
they
a
have.
year of him breaking it, he installed a new perception in the world in front of him. All these people are breaking it now. How many of us have a kid in high school? I have a 13-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Oh, wow.
How many of us have kids? Right now in high school, there are kids that break the 4-minute mile.
Wow.
So active imagination is a very big key. Yes.
That is awesome. The active imagination. Now, in this active imagination and perception, how important is putting that vision, making that vision plain? How important is writing it down, vision boards, putting it in front of you? I mean, you hear things biblically all the time with different stories of making it plain, putting that vision out there. Once you have the imagination, you got to take it out your head. Explain where that can create just by sight.
Ask me that question one more time.
So more or less making the vision plain.
Yes,
Vision boards, writing it.
let me share one thing. What I found is very interesting. I think vision boards are good. Creating a visual plane of what you want to create is huge.
Right.
Unfortunately, I've known many people that have created vision boards with not them in it.
Explain.
They have a vision board. Okay, we're about to go deep. You ready to go deep?
Let's go deep.
Do
We got
it.
now just a little.
I'm gonna do it in 30 seconds.
Okay, there we go.
I'm gonna do it in about 30
There
seconds.
you go. There you go. And I got
People are creating a vision board of something outside of them that they want to have. Every time they look at it, please have this not be you, have it not be us. They're looking at something that they want to have, but they don't believe they're in it. They don't believe they have it. So now they're programming their mind with something that is intangible, that's not what they have. So if you were to use a vision board, NLP is much more powerful. We step into an experience viscerally through through all of your senses. You would have a vision board with a picture of you in the car, in the house, and you would do better than that. You would actually step into the vision board in your mind and walk through that house.
Touching things, getting water, things of that nature,
Yes.
making it
Making
vivid.
vivid, yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
definitely can dig that. And because that's very important when you're looking at perception, because you hear people all the time, like even in my home, when you come in there, I have a vision board up. And then I have around my TV, I have all the awards that I want to win, Emmy, Oscars, you know, Tony, you know,
Yep.
all those good things. And I'm just a firm believer, if you put it there, then it will firmly be your experience. For instance, I have a big $100 bill sitting
Yes.
up over my bathroom window. I said that in order for me to have a lot of them, let me learn what it is. Let me
Yes.
see what's on the $100 bill so I can be familiar with it, so I can welcome it in, because I have
Yes.
confidence in it. And from that, they come in all the time. So
Can I share with you real
Yes,
quick one
go
more
ahead.
thing on perception projection? This is huge.
Go ahead.
There was a study. This is huge. There was a study, kind of an unfair study. I heard about it, and I just thought I would bring it up. There was a study where they got these students, and they approached a teacher, interim teacher, and said, "You know what? The teacher for these students isn't here. They're unfortunately, these students are sort of mentally retarded. They're slow, but you know, we're short on staff. Do your best with them." See what you can do. At the end of the year, these students got C's and D's. Okay, the same group of students, the very next semester, they approached a new temp teacher and they said, "You know, you're about to receive a group of very genius students." A group of very genius students, and you know what? Unfortunately, the teacher that's there for them is unavailable. But you know, we need you to fill in, and can you do the best you can just to keep up with them because they're that brilliant? And at the end of the semester, these students ended up getting A's and B's. The same students. The study showed us that what was the perception is projection. The perception of the teacher was projected onto the students and an expectation of the students' performance, and it created an impact in the individual. So my question to us is, what is your perception about your kid's performance? What is your perception about your own performance? What do you project onto yourself is what you're capable of doing? Are you projecting that you can make $1 million this year? Are you projecting you can start up that new company? Are you projecting onto yourself that you can lose that weight? I, as a trainer in this, I always project onto you, the student, the person growing, that you can and that you will, and I hold the space that you are already now, haven't you?
I can dig that, definitely. So before we get into the last questions, of course, what you know for sure about perception, and projection equals, our perception is our projection.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I guess I want to know if a person that is in a process, of course, cause and effect, that they're in the wrong space. I just want you, and I'm going to ask you at this end, how do they go from the cause and effect to a better way of projecting? How does a person that doesn't know, this is the first time they're hearing this, take this piece and apply it? Is it something they just do, or is there a process that you can take us really quick from A to B in perception? I mean, our projection is our perception is our projection. Can you take us from A to B real quick to that?
What I would do is always step at cause. Look at again, we'll just sort of repeat.
Right.
Look at the life that you have right now. Realize you didn't create it by accident.
Right.
There are choices that you made at the conscious level and the unconscious level. What I mean by unconscious level, again, choices and decisions you are not conscious of that you still made.
Right.
When did I decide that? Look at the root and have utilize these tools. We're going to be sharing the tools with you.
Right.
This isn't just about so that you understand why it's necessary. We teach you what it is, what's the unconscious mind, what all this stuff is, why we need to learn this, and then we teach you how to do it.
Right.
In the short amount of time now, we wouldn't be able to actually go through a process of doing it.
Right.
But there's tools, a way to do it. The first thing is the recognition of what is the root cause.
Right.
And then to unchoose it. If you were to try to unchoose it without the right process, it might be difficult because you want to unchoose it at the unconscious level. So timeline therapy and N.L.P are two techniques that can do it in a matter of minutes. So we want you to learn these tools because in literally 5 to 10 minutes, you can change your reality. In fact, it's not even 5 to 10 minutes. That's the space that's creating it. The change will happen in an instant.
And that is awesome to go, because change does. I think once you choose to change, it is just when you realize you're going down the wrong direction on the interstate,
Yes.
you decide to say, let me turn around. You don't keep going. I actually went through a slight thing today. Like, I don't know, you may go a little bit, but that feeling comes like, maybe I'm going the wrong way and I should turn around. And it usually is something that should happen. And I think, and it really is that quick. But I think we hold on to the auras and the old things that we say, is it that easy? Now, in that perception, and this wasn't where I was going to go, but it just came out, how is the you know how the beliefs of, not really beliefs, but people bring up these, you know, it's too good to be true, these sayings. How can these sayings that we say on the unconscious level really be distracting and tearing our futures around? Because I think that has because they're words, they still have an effect.
Yes.
What would you say about that creating a perception and projection?
You know, I want to bring this up real quick because I think this actually answers your question in a different way, and even in a more powerful way that will help everybody. Marilyn Savant, which is the person, I don't know if you know, or have heard of her, a person that was known as the person with the highest recorded IQ in history, was asked, can I look at a person? She was asked, can you look at a person? You're that person with the highest recorded IQ in history. Can you look at a person and see where they'll be in 5 or 10 years? And she said, absolutely. And they said, really? So how would you do that? She said, all I have to do is ask 2 questions.
Wow.
And the first question is, who is your circle of influence? Who are the 5 people that you surround yourself with? This alludes to what you're saying, because you're saying these words from other people.
Right.
Who are the 5 people that you surround yourself with? Because their income, if you actually were to go this far, sometimes even their income, if you were to average if you would total 5 of their incomes and divide by 5 and create an average, your income typically falls within a very short range of their income. Their thoughts, their beliefs, their attitudes towards life are usually very much where your thoughts or beliefs would be. So she would say, all I need to do is ask the person who are the 5 people they surround themselves with, because based on that, I could tell where they'll be in 10 years from now. Based on the relationships they have with other people, because it's the relationships you have with other people that is one of the biggest determining factors on where you'll be 10 years from now. Now, I don't want to say this where you're going, well, I'm gonna just get rid of this or that. There's tools. There's tools where you can, from a space of love, there's tools where, from a space of love, where you can evolve the conversation in those relationships. So you don't need to turn your back on someone, especially if it's a family member. This is not about blaming them or getting angry at them. It's saying, look, how can I create a new reality and create a new relationship, a higher conversation, not only for myself, because it starts with me. One of my mentors shared with me a long time ago, when I change, the world around me changes. So how do I elevate the conversations? How do I elevate the relationships I have in my life without necessarily turning my back on anybody, because I don't need to?
And then what was the second thing that she said she noticed?
Aha! You want to know, don't you?
I want to at least throw that out there.
What are the books? What are the tapes? What are the CDs?
That is important.
What do you feed your mind?
Yes.
What do you feed your mind? Right now, NLP and timeline therapy, the 2 most powerful
Very
techniques.
important.
The English government, the Prince of Wales, the English royal family is using NLP and timeline therapy for all the soldiers coming back from Afghanistan.
Yes. Yes, because that's very important with what was the
PTSD.
PTSD. That is important to be able to put into place. You know, how does that, really quick, just a quick excerpt, how does that help in that area?
NLP and timeline therapy, they have all the money in the world, all the resources to pick any technology on the planet, but they're using the 2 technologies that I'm a master of for specific reasons. Why? Because it creates a new reality. It's quick. It removes the root cause of pain, actually not pain. It removes the root cause of anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, shame, resentment, all those negative emotions. It removes them very quickly. By removing those, and it even is very effective, and it's being used even with post-traumatic stress disorder. By removing those, the person is able to tap into a peace. Remember, we talked about that sequoia tree. All this stuff's happening around you. Everybody's going in a tailspin.
Right.
But you've created happiness and peace and congruency and alignment within you, and you realize you had it before that traumatic experience. You were at peace before, so you can be again, and you are right now as soon as you recognize it.
Awesome. So the one thing that you know for sure, with this particular topic, our perception is our projection. What would it be?
I know for sure that my results are giving me feedback on what I can change within myself. And when I change, my results will change.
I can dig that totally. And so again, we just finished up part 2. Now we're going to be going into part 3, everybody, and we're going to go into part 3 a little bit quicker.
Yes.
We're just going to more or less hit part 3, and then of course we're going to have some more feedback, because everybody, you do know that you can catch us on LOV923.com and also KyRedford.com or KyRedfordCoaching.com as
Yes.
well. With that, we're going to be able to follow up with this. We are in the process of creating teachings for everyone, so you can get this information, because it's all about changing our lives and elevating our lives to the next level. So we are still